We got an exciting show today. I think you and I walked around the office and asked everybody to give us their favorite aquarium accessory product and
Yep.
why. And there were some very surprising answers, right?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, it ranged from, high end stuff to really low cost, simple products. And, it's just something that what makes their life easier, what is their go to, is kind of how we pose the question. What do you feel is, a product that gives you the success or just something that's very user friendly for you that you think makes your life easier in maintaining your aquarium?
Before we get started, you're watching or listening to CVtv podcast. It's a show that we do on a semi-weekly basis. I'm going to go to that. And we cover things in the hobby, from what's happening in the hobby to products to education, sometimes chemistry. But if you like the show, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the bell button, hit the thumbs up. If you are listening to us, you can, and you're trying to figure out, say, hey, where can I listen to this? You can actually go to Spotify and subscribe. If you're on Spotify and maybe you want to watch what we're showing on the screen, because it's a both listening and video, then we also have a YouTube channel, CoralVue channel, and you can subscribe there and you will be notified as soon as a new episode is released. Also, we are recording this episode just a few days before Thanksgiving. I know our producer, April, is going to be releasing this on Friday. That's what she told us. So, everybody, I hope you had a happy and safe Thanksgiving and you didn't eat too much turkey. If you're still napping or halfway in and out while you're listening to this, that's okay. We won't take it personally. But do pay attention, because if you have somebody that is in the hobby, these are great ideas for gifts. So, and I know Dave's got a pretty darn good gift. If Santa comes through, it's I'll be impressed. All right. So let's start with Richard McKellips. He's our sales rep in California. And he had a product that I personally use. And I know you, Dave, have been personally using for a long time. And this is the Fauna Marin multi-elements A and B. When you're using a calcium reactor or you're using your balling method to add alkalinity, calcium, and magnesium to the tank, just like a human body, a human body needs vitamins. So a tank also needs trace elements that the corals need in order to process calcium, to capture calcium, to use alkalinity, to use magnesium, so forth. These are trace elements that you need. So these bottles are literally bottles of trace elements that you can put on a doser and then automatically dose those into your tank once a week, once a day, multiple times a day. And it just gives the corals the ability to use those building blocks to build more skeleton, to reproduce, to grow, and so forth. Without those elements, the corals won't happen. I mean, yes, you could feed the tank, but that's not going to feed those elements. Again, human body, you can go and eat, but you still need those vitamin supplements because your body's not going to get everything from what your diet is. So I think the colors improve.
Especially calcium reactor users. This is really key, in my opinion. You're running a calcium reactor, you're not getting all of those minors. This is a perfect product for it.
Yeah, so you're getting your strontium, you're getting your flora, you're getting your vanadium, you're getting your, iron, you're getting your, we can go down the list of all the trace elements in there, but without those trace elements, your corals are not going to thrive. So having the multi-elements in B and it's key. And you and I can attest to this because we visited Richard in September, right?
Yeah.
We visited in September, and his tank was incredible.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on, we got Chris Conti. Chris Conti is probably the longest tenure sales rep that we have here. I mean, he's been in the hobby probably as long or if longer than we have,
Yeah. In the industry for
working
sure.
in the industry. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. And he's on the East Coast. So he says that his favorite product is the Regal skimmer. I mean,
Yeah. It's just it's the go-to. I think it's the gold standard in my opinion. Not trying to be biased, but for protein skimmers, it's 20 years plus on the market. To my knowledge, it's the only manufacturer that builds their and designs their own skimmer pumps and water pumps. And when you're
yes.
talking about teaming a pump to a skimmer body, it's not a guess. They're actually engineering a pump that will handle the amount of air it can intake with the skimmer size that it's going on. I think recently Connor in social media, he had posted a picture. Somebody went 7 years without cleaning the pump. And if you saw pictures of it, it was sponges and everything growing around it. It was still running. But
I would
we
not
don't recommend that.
100% would not recommend that at
Yeah,
all.
yeah,
But yeah, no, there's
it's just
always
testament to what it can, the build quality of it.
So moving on.
Yep.
We have April, our producer. Okay, and she says that her favorite is the XS and the XB8 Hydros.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can't argue with that.
Yeah. I mean, her word says that she likes to automate simple things, and that she used to do manually, and she likes it that she can have that safety when she goes away for remote access and also leaks.
Yes,
Leak
I think that
detector.
was the
She
big thing for
loves
her.
the leak detector.
She was scared
Yes,
about
yes,
water getting on her hardwood floors, which I think
yes.
many of us can attest to that concern.
So both the XP8 and the XS combined is just a little over $400, which is great because we know Hydros has so many different options out there that if you can start monitoring your tank for as little as $150.
Right.
And with the launch, you can get pretty much a little bit of everything: 4 AC ports, 4 drive ports for 12-volt devices, 4 sense ports, a pH-or P probe, and a salinity conductivity port, and a 0 to 10-volt input.
Yeah, that's a great buy for, and a lot of people always asking where to get into hydros, and that's why we did
The launch.
It's the launching point.
The launch. Yeah, but the XS has 4 sense ports, and the XP8 has 8 AC outlets, and so she's got her system running on that, and she loves it. She loves it. So we have Brandy, your wife, of course,
That's my
and
wife.
the co-owner of and the co-owner of CoralVue.
Yeah.
Okay, and so she says that she's got the Dymax coral snippers and the Frag cutters.
Yeah. And the reason she has that is because when I'm in there in my room working on my tank and need scissors or some tool, I have them mounted on a nice magnetic bar, and I can tell her, "Hey, can you give me that Dymax coral snipper so I can cut this frag plug?" And she knows right where to go for it.
Yeah. And the snippers, I know that there's special material that they're made out of that is it's a
Yeah.
stainless steel, right?
Yes, high quality, high grade stainless steel. And I really like it because they got a nice comfort grip on it. But you really, when you get into some of those plugs, you need to put a good bit of torque on it to snap them off. But those things are like butter. So they work out great, and they're not rusted. So I know it's a good quality stainless.
Yeah, they got the nice spring too. The nice spring too that makes it easy.
And then it's got a lock on it as well, so you can close them and then lock it, so nobody can mess with it. But just a great tool. Every hobbyist is going to need one at some point. Yeah, and a low price point.
I mean, that's the thing about it. Was the coral snippers are $30, around $30, and the
Mhm.
frag cutters are around $40. So,
Yeah.
I mean, and you get something that is high quality. It's, I think it's a great, great buy.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on to Tanya Oliver, and she is one of our support reps.
Yeah.
She handles a lot of the support, especially with Reef Octopus, Camor too, and she actually has a small tank, a small anemone tank with a couple of fish in her office.
Yeah.
So it's always good. And she said that her favorite product was the Reef Octopus Octopulse.
I mean, I've had some of the originals, prototypes when Reef Octopus did them that are still running. It's
Mm-hmm.
and they don't even clean them. It just keeps
Yeah,
working. It's just
it just keeps working.
but one of the best features of it is the directional pointing of it. So it's magnet
Yeah, the
mounted.
swiveling.
Yeah, the swivel feature. You just put it at the angle that you want. You want to agitate the surface, you just point it up. You want to blow into a corner, you aim it down, or however you want. Makes it really simple. So it's not like it's a fixed pump that's just blowing like that. It's just straight. It's actually adjustable. I think that's a
You know what?
big feature.
One of my favorite features also is the fact that it comes with a, when you purchase it and it comes with the Reef Octopus controller, the native one, it's a push button. You push it and it starts. You push
Yeah.
feed and it pauses for, 15, 60 minutes, however you want, and then it's done. But at the same time, the gearhead, the techie part of me is happy that it also is fully compatible with the Hydros Wave engine. So if I want my controller Wave engine to control it together with the IceCap 4K and my Abyzz, Canon, and make them all work together, it can be done because it's fully compatible with the Hydros.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a huge feature. And when you unlock it with the Hydros Wave engine, it takes it to another dimension in terms of what you can do and flow patterns and the way you can sequence the flow pattern. It's really takes it to another level.
All right. So our next person is Jeremy Reichel. And Jeremy Reichel is kind of, he's our graphic designer, but we also call him Dr. Octopus. The guy knows hardware.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to skimmers, scrubbers, designing them, figuring out how to make them work, how to test them, how to work them correctly. It's like you can see his gears running around in there.
Yeah, no doubt. Plenty of these designs that we come up with from IceCap, Reef Octopus have come from Jeremy's brain. So greatly appreciative of him and his efforts.
Yeah, I mean, and he is truly a unicorn because he's got the graphic skills. He's got the knowledge of the hobby. He's not an engineer, but he has that mindset of an engineer that can just sketch things out and pass them on. I mean, he's a one of a kind guy. If you ever meet him at a trade show, he's a lot of fun to talk
scared
to.
of him. He's not grumpy. He's very approachable.
Yes, he is.
But he actually his background, he comes from his hardware store, and his family owned a hardware store, so he's got this mechanical build mind in helping people put things together, and took that to aquariums, and it really shows. He's really talented at it.
Yes. So so for a mechanical, almost engineer person who's a graphic designer, you would expect, like an IceCap sump or a big, public aquarium skimmer. Nah. What does he want? He likes the IceCap testing stir.
Yep. He actually fought over this one. Since I was going to pick it. It's just a convenience. When you're able to take a titration test, instead of sitting there manually with your hands stirring, drop, stir, drop, stir, you take this little pill stir, something that seems so simple, and you can run a titration test, I would say, in more than half the time it would take trying to do it
Oh,
by hand.
less. You know,
Yeah.
I probably, an alkalinity test, I can run it probably in about 15 seconds.
Yeah. And not only that, the time, but it's the color shift that you can see happen so much quicker. Whereas before you kind of get, well, is it there now? When it's stirring, you can really just see this thing make that change. And you know that, and that's your accuracy in terms of what you're trying to measure.
Yeah, I have a little anecdote about it too, because you know,
Okay.
Jeremy and I, you know, we were looking at those things, and I remember you sent us the product, and then you told us what the retail price, which is not much, but
Mhm.
you know, when you're doing this by hand in a syringe, you're like, I can
Yeah.
do this myself. So you said it was because it's about $30, and we're like, no way, I'm gonna pay for 30
Nobody could
bucks.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
no,
I
I'm like,
remember that.
I'm guilty. I'm like, no, I'm not paying 30 bucks. I can do it by hand and everything. So you
Yeah.
sent it to us, and then we did it once, and we're like, whoa, okay, whoa,
Yeah.
and no way. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, this is worth
Now I'm gonna take
every
it from you.
single penny.
Now let me
Yeah,
give it back.
exactly.
You're like, no.
I'm not giving it back, Dave. I'm not sending this back. It's
Nope.
mine now. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, and then okay, we have Connor, our social media guru, and you'll find him a lot at trade shows. You know, he's you've probably talked to him, and so he actually likes the Majano Wand.
Yeah. This is one that I really like too. And one we probably could do a more in-depth show on, Carlos, is just aquarium pests. And it's not something we like, but unfortunately it comes with the territory of owning a reef tank and dealing with pests. At some point, you're going to deal with some kind of pest. And this is one of the tools in the arsenal that, to me, is effective, and it's also fun. I love watching. I love trying those things. Yeah. There's so many, things out there, from the nudibranchs to the calc paste, and I could go on, but this is just one that you can visually just enjoy, just zapping these things, and disintegrating. And this is just one of the tools that's effective. It works. Maybe, the argument is, well, it lets spores out and they spread. I don't know. I just see them die. And if I got a big one that just I can't get rid of, or can't reach it, or something, get rid of the rock, he's going to succumb to the Majano Wand. Yes.
All right. Moving on, we have Michael Schrader. He is in the Caribbean, actually, and talk about remote,
Yeah. He's in the jungle.
He's in the jungle. He's up in the mountains in Puerto Rico, but which is great. I wish I was there.
Yep.
So Mike has the CO2 scrubber. I like it. I personally, my system right now has a CO2 scrubber. And what Mike also said in there, that it increases pH. Obviously, we're not talking about increasing pH by a whole point. That's not going to happen. So if that's your expectation, hey, you got to bring it down. You got to bring it down a little bit, because it does help, but it's probably going to be like maybe what do you think? 0.2? 0.2?
0.3. Yeah.
0.2,
Something like
0.3. That's about the max you're going to get out of
it. Some people really
it.
struggle with pH, especially in condominiums, townhomes, apartments. They really struggle where they can't get above 7.6, 7.7. Yeah.
I mean, for me here in the northern states, because I'm in Chicago, winter hits and all the windows are closed. You got a furnace that, we got water heaters too. Everything is, a lot of stuff are producing CO2 that obviously, we have the code, the building code has found ways to vent it, but we know it's never 100%. So I can see my pH drop drastically as winter hits and I have to close everything. So having that scrubber, it's a big help. And the great thing about the media is that it changes color. So it goes from a pink to a white color when it's exhausted, and then you just toss it and then
How long
add
can
more.
you go with how long do you typically go with your media?
The media lasts about 2 to 3 weeks on average. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm sure you experience the same thing on the previous office. Obviously, the more people, the more CO2 it's got to
Sure.
scrub up, the quicker it wastes. So you could be, but for me, it was about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay, good.
All right. So moving on, we have Jessica, and Jessica is our sales rep. She is our newest sales rep, even though she's been here for over a year.
Yeah.
And she is out of Florida, and her favorite product is PARwise by
Oh,
ITC.
another valuable tool, huh?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. And
yeah.
PARwise is a measurement of your light output.
What it does in essence is it measures the amount of radiation in simple terms. I mean, I'm not a scientist, so I mean,
Mm.
I'm trying to base the memory, but it measures the amount of radiation that the light produces, and it hits the coral, and the coral then then changes this into photosynthesis and then food.
Yeah.
So it's handy for me. It's handy if I'm going to somebody else's home and I'm getting some frags. I stick my PARwise in there. Hey, can I see that? And most people say yes because they want to see what's going on.
Yeah.
So I have a better idea of where to put corals. Like, the human eye cannot gauge the intensity of the par. We can gauge the light, but human eye is not that it's not that good. Um, so having that measuring equipment that can tell me is like, okay, this par is high here, is very low here. So I got a low light coral, I'll put them in the low par. A high light coral, I may put it up here where the par is the highest because it needs that. So that's what I like about PARwise.
And it's also, Carlos, I mean, a lot of people can't see it over time, but LEDs as well degrade over time.
Mm-hmm.
There is a degradation to the amount of time, the run time. They have a rating, but they will degrade over time. So being able to maybe map your system with PAR to see what your lights are doing over time, you won't have the same PAR from year one as you may year 3 or 4. So something
Yeah.
to think about, just when it comes to corals and your placement of them and how they react over time.
Another thing that PARwise can do is that it will actually give you a visual graph of
Yeah.
the light spectrum. So you
Hmm.
can see how much blue, how much UV, how much green, how much red. So kind of see that light. So when you have, all of us have a hodgepodge of different lights that we put over our tanks, and we're trying to make sure that the lights are the same. Again, the human eye can't see that, but if you put the PARwise, you can ensure that light A has the light A and light B have somewhat similar spectrums, so they're actually producing the same light. Yeah. So
Pretty
she
cool.
likes PARwise. Yeah, it's a great tool, and the price, I mean, for that's $300. It's
Yep.
just it doesn't get any better than that.
I mean, I've seen a lot of
Oh.
people having to rent some of these other ones, that are
Mm-hmm.
$600, and this is half the cost for something that
Mm-hmm.
gives you, I think, more features. So
Absolutely.
something to think about.
Absolutely. If you're looking for something quick, that you can use, this is a very affordable piece of equipment.
Yes.
All right. Moving on to Don, one of our engineers.
Yeah.
And yeah, that one was kind of I kind of figured that was good, what Don was going to say.
He was behind it.
So he's all about the Hydro Soul.
Yeah.
And it's such a great pump. Dave, you use it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is just, man, it's so quiet. I was using that FX STP before, and it was a good pump, but man, over time, this thing just got so loud. The clanking and having to replace the tubing in it. I was constantly putting silicone on the rollers. I've never even touched the sole, and I'm like, is it running? And it's still going. So
And the speed, right, Dave? The speed is the
and
big
I'm running
difference.
twice the speed as I was with the FX STP. So
Yeah, I think the FX STP maxes out at 100 milliliters per minute.
Yeah.
The sole maxes out at 300 milliliters per minute.
Yep.
And even at 300 milliliters per minute, it is super quiet. Super quiet. It has to do with the setup too. I must be 100% transparent. So let's say you're using it on a reactor. If you're pushing water into the reactor, where the sole has to force water into it, then it's going to be louder. So I recommend to people that don't push into the reactor, because you're also creating pressure. You just pull from the reactor. So when you pull from the reactor, then the sole doesn't have to work on pushing that water into it. So it'll be more reliable. It'll be more consistent in terms of volume, and it'll be way quieter.
Yes.
Way quieter. So always think of the sole as you pull from the reactor. If you're going long distances, then you do need to push. You don't need to, don't pull, push. It's small. It's tiny. We're not talking about a big thing.
Right.
It's strong. It's what I like about it too, Dave, and I think you'll agree, is that it uses a different head. It's something that we haven't seen in the hobby before.
Yeah, this head actually comes out of the medical industry. It's built for those kind of standards that they expect in the medical industry.
Yes. It doesn't use the little head that we commonly know in the hobby. It uses a different head, and it's something that we haven't seen before. So it was great. I use it on my sulfur reactor, and I believe you do the same thing, Dave. All right, so I'm gonna talk about mine. When you asked me the question, the first thing that came up was IceCap Tweezers. I love those things.
First thing. It might be the cheapest thing we offer.
you would have expected it's like, you would have said, oh yeah, he's coming out with the Maven or something Hydros or something like that. It's like, nope, I like my tweezers.
I couldn't believe it. So what do you love about these tweezers?
I love the fact that they're carbon fiber, so they're super light. They're super light. They float. You know how many times I'm picking things up and I knock them down because of the coral, and then I drop it in and I have to go and stick my hand in there. Okay, so I have a glass tank. So, anytime I'm working with metal around my glass tank, it's like, you have to be extra careful. So having those things hit is, they smack the glass or anything, I don't have to worry about it.
Right.
It is just, I think they're awesome. They should be part of every hobbyist's toolkit.
I agree. The safety factor, I've had those other forceps before, tweezers, and dropped them. Not just hitting the glass, but then just crashing into a coral on the way down and cursing after that. And then going to these with the carbon fiber and ability to float. And it's like, and even if if I want to just let it go and let it float while I use my other hand, I know it's not an issue. I can just it's floating on top of the water, grab it and continue working.
Yeah, and also like Brandy, Heather it appreciates that I'm not using the kitchen tongues anymore.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I'm not going to use my grill ones. I'm going to use the kitchen ones.
Right. Yeah. What are you doing? I'm cooking with that.
Exactly. Or why are these tongues rusted? Oops. I'll get new ones on. And the price is great. It's like $20. That's it.
Yeah. So if you're looking for a gift for somebody or just a stocking stuffer, you got somebody in the family that's a reefer. What a great gift.
That's a great gift. All right, Dave, we're down to your favorite product.
Mine's kind of a big one, but I got.
Hey, you own the company, so you can do that.
I got this big tank here, 1,200 gallons. I love acros, And one of the biggest things that I've noticed in my years of reefing is flow in the aquarium. And once you have acros that start getting big, colonies, and you don't have the proper flow, you're going to see that their tissue is going to start to get tissue narcosis, or tissue's just going to go away where it doesn't have these SPS have it's like they need to breathe. And if they don't have that water that's flowing around them, this current, it's like the respiratory system on them dies. So with that in mind, my pick is the Abyzz AFC 150s. These are in-tank flow pumps. These things I can just I mean, Alex may see this, but I've never cleaned them yet. They've been on the system almost 4 years now. I think there's corals growing on them. They just work, and they put out just a massive amount of flow. 15,875 gallons per hour.
Wow.
Just a beast. And then having the ability to link that with hydros and create these variable wave patterns that we're doing. Having the ability to go into feed mode and everything shuts off. It just really makes my life easy, and it has done a wonderful job. The corals in the tank, I mean, some of them colonies are getting 2 foot in diameter now, Carlos. It's getting out of hand. But
wow.
it's fun just watching the growth that I've been able to achieve, and I attribute that to good water flow.
So let's talk about Abyzz. Abyzz is a company out of Germany, and they've been developing pumps for many years. And they're actually, I think, their number one customer is our public aquariums.
Yes,
because their systems, their pumps are made for big public aquariums. And public aquariums, you know, they want something that works, the low maintenance, and that can work. So Alex, the owner of Vanatech, which is Abyzz, has done a superb job of creating these pumps that are made tough. I mean, they're made to last, and they come with a 10-year warranty.
And that's the big thing, is the 10-year warranty. So, you know, when you buy in, yeah, you're paying a lot of money for these pumps, but then you think about the quality and materials. I mean, this pump's made of grade 2 titanium, carbon fiber, ceramic. These are all high quality materials that go into these things. And then you add the 10-year warranty with it, and it's just like, hey, this is a premium product, but the results prove you get what you pay for in some cases, and this is, I believe, one of them.
And you have 2 of them in your tank, right?
I have 2. Yep.
Yes. So do you think I can put one on the 200-gallon tank?
That might be a much. I was going to say, you know, if you get it upgrade to about a 400, 500-gallon tank, then we get you one in.
Then you can talk, right? Yeah. Well, I do have an AFC 200 in this tank. It's taking care of my return pumps, taking care of my manifold, you know, because again, it's Abyzz. If you're gonna, you know, you and I say this, if you're gonna do something, do it right. And yes, you spend a little more money at first, but you do it right, and you only spend that money once. If you try to go the economic, as we say, the cheap way, so oftentimes it kind of backfires, and you end up spending twice as much, because then you spent for the bad product that you purchased, and then you spend again to purchase what you should have purchased to begin with.
I always say people that are, you know, they know hobbyists that are going to be in this, hobbyists that are your diehards. I'm in this. I'm always going to have a reef tank or an aquarium. Those are the people that I believe, can justify, you know, investing into this, and knowing you got peace of mind, you got a good quality product.
Okay, so that pretty much gets us through all the products that from the CoralVue staff. They're all hobbyists. We're hobbyists first, and that's when you call, when you send an email. We definitely try to go out of our way to help you out. If we see something that might be wrong or something, even though it's not something that you asked, we're gonna offer some suggestions in there. I don't think we're that company where we're only answering the question that you ask. That doesn't help us. That doesn't help you. We want repeat customers, and
Right.
you get repeat customers by providing superb customer service, because
Success.
you
We
can
want
go
everyone to have success in this. We want to
exactly.
see it. We enjoy having success with our tanks, and if we can share a little knowledge, we're happy to do so. And there's so much out there, Carlos, with social media. But I always try and say,
Mhm.
man, look for people that their tank is, what are they working with? Show me what you got. You have a
Yeah.
nice tank, and there's different tanks, beginner, easy stuff, intermediate, more advanced. So listen to people that, tend to have a little more experience in this, and see what they're doing to gain that success. And there's multiple ways to skin a cat. There isn't just
Yeah.
one way. It's the only way, but there's plenty to learn in this.
So thank you, Dave. Thank you
Yeah,
for
thank you. Yeah,
always being a great co-host.
yeah,
Hopefully you had a good Thanksgiving. Didn't eat too
yeah.
much, and
No,
getting ready for the holiday season has
yeah.
started.
It started. That has.
Thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you next time.